What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. What a difference a day makes. How that old song goes. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. Welcome to Wednesday. It is officially Taco Wednesday. Hey, who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? Taco Wednesday. But it is. It literally is Taco Wednesday. And you guys will probably like, what the heck is this guy talking about? It's Taco Tuesday, bro. But it is officially the Trump keeps chickening out. It is Taco Wednesday. All right, we're going to talk all about that. It's going to be great. We're going to get into loads of charts and loads of stuff. It might not be as bad as we all think it is. Or we're going to absolute Goblin Town on the way through the Shadow Realm, all right? So, you know, definitely some stuff to talk about. Anyway, but I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day. It's been exhausting today. If you were looking at the charts all today and you're a cryptocurrency investor, it has literally been the most exhausting day ever. I was like looking at charts at about, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours ago. And I was just thinking, I just can't even be bothered with this market anymore. I even posted on X and I was literally like, it's a scam. It's a scam. This crypto stuff's a scam. Oh man, yeah, pure unadulterated Goblin Town it is. Oh man. Anyway, we'll get into all of it tonight. I want to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the whole Bank of Japan thing because there is almost a build out on top of that we need to talk about tonight that could either unwind the entire crypto market, send us through the Shadow Realm into a night in Goblin Town, or it could absolutely reverse things and we could see some momentum to build back to the upside, which would also be good news, all right? So we're going to get into all of that tonight, as well as all your favorite news, reviews. Also, I want to take a look at some charts because I definitely think there is some opportunities. I've been looking at a couple of long trades. We talked about one of them 3 days ago, Cantor Network. We were saying, hey, look out for the 50-day EMA bounce. Look out for that reversal. Look out for the trend reversal. Well, if you caught that, grats. That was a nice trade as well, if you did get that. By the way, do join our Discord. We do post them in there. 26% move on Canton. So again, if you caught that, congratulations. Really nice move there. Again, something we were talking about very much here on the channel. So I want to get into a couple of coins I'm watching, looking for a potential trade opportunity. All right, we'll talk about a couple of those, maybe some entry points, what I'm looking at, maybe where I've got some entry points, where I've got some stop losses, all that good stuff. All right, so if you want a bit more of that, stick around. It's going to be great. And obviously, we'll talk about the Trump taco effect, which I think is definitely worthwhile. So smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you're brand new and you're on YouTube. If you're not and you're on TikTok, then hit the follow button. It's highly recommended. It is worth it, and it instantly makes you feel better as well. Right. All right, everybody. Let's get into it. I totally forgot. I love the first picture. The first chat on the screen says Goblin Town. It's all about Goblin Town. Anyway, I reckon 2-Bit will mention Goblin Town over 100 times tonight. Well, we're already on our track, Tomato Pete. We're already on the track. All right. TikTok, come over here because you guys need to see what's going on here on these chart arenas. And get a bit of a vibe for what's happening. Right, Swamp, good to see you. Welcome in. Beebs here. Good to see you, everybody. Jumping in. JFR, Tim. Have you noticed they've done something as well? So the moderators get some like cool little blue shields. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Obviously, if you're a channel member, you get a cool little 2-Bit coin next to your name. So Grafe with the gold. Look at that. Mark Noby with the gold one. Future coming in with the bronze. Nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? Just means you're part of the clan. So welcome in as always. We appreciate you guys well. And a couple of new faces as well. So welcome into the new faces. We appreciate you guys. What's up with the title? Well, Erlon, stick around. I'm going to tell you exactly why the title is what it is. A little bit of what's going on. Welcome in. We've escaped Goblin Town. Maybe. Agent Krasnov says no NATO. Well, there's a lot of discussions going on. What we can say and decipher is the markets are definitely more optimistic about a Trump not invading Greenland. All right. So we'll get into all that in just a minute because there is some things we need to be mindful of, right? We could still definitely see some extreme volatility. However, if you've been part of this channel for a while, you've been keeping up to speed with my videos. I talked about the fact that I thought beginning of the week was going to end up being bearish. We were going to see some capitulation in the market. End of the week, flippening, bullish sentiment coming in. Well, so far, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here because I can't, but we've been pretty much bang on the money, right? Bang on the money, which is great. So we'll get into all that. We'll talk a little bit, but look at this. Nice bounce here for BTC on this. Now, we did lose this range yesterday. We were touching on this 89, 90,000 range. We saw, we came sort of way through this line here. But what's important, and we did say, if you remember, if you were here last night, I said geopolitical tends to be buy the dip, all right? Tends to be buy the dip. And like I said, these are some of the players we were looking at. Canton Network, Zcash, All of these could have been potential bounce trades. Some of you guys even bought yesterday. Grats, they would have been nice. XRP being one of them, I think was 182. Well done if you got that. Even ETH as an example was about 2,900. But nice bounce here on BTC, which is good to see. And hopefully we'll see it continue. There is obviously another couple of days left of Davos, so we will see. But what's important to reference here, by the way, a strong break from the 236 Fibonacci, which you talked about yesterday, which again is good news. Back above that trend line, so lots of good sentiment. Next price target that we're looking for to continue this move, 94,203. Stick it in your calendars. Hopefully we get there. That would be nice. What is the catalyst? Well, Thursday. You know what's coming tomorrow, baby. You know what's coming tomorrow. And if you don't, then you absolutely should have already hit the subscribe and make sure you're part of the channel because you are going to miss out. But some big data dropping tomorrow, which could totally unwind the markets, or in my opinion, could certainly give us a little bit more of a push to the upside. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But key charts here for Bitcoin. And I think, again, back above this trend line, which is what we want to see. I did think we'd come down and retest this line. We didn't. It's probably still a line we want to keep on there just for a lower bounce, but solid move. Close anything around 90K probably feels like a pretty solid move. It tells us yesterday was all geopolitical. And, you know, if anything, you could argue Trump just got strong-armed by the EU. Like, you might say, well, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Yeah, he did. He 100% got strong-armed by the EU. What's going on, Rob? But the art of the deal, let's call it, will be... will be on the table to see. Total market cap back above 3 trillion. Again, good news here. Remember, geopolitical, but, arguably, I mean, you could almost argue that actually that's probably more favorable range. A bounce back up could take EMA back to the upside on the 20. That would be good news. And then what does the macro start to look like? Remember, we were talking about this yesterday as a potential structure. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but we got higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. In theory, we're now going to potentially retest 100K, right? If the structure of the market plays out and we don't get any kind of geopolitical nonsense and all this kind of crazy stuff. But essentially, this is kind of what we're looking for. Could print that. If you think about what our moves have been over the course of the last few, from the bottom here to the top, has taken us about 4 to 5 days. Exactly the same here. So, again, this would say a Sunday pump. Maybe Sailor comes and buys more. Could see us maybe at 100K, which sounds insane, right? It sounds insane. And believe me when I say that the odds of that happening, I would argue are slim, all right? Are slim. However, you get another couple of days like we've got today, we're already there. I mean, if you think about potentially retesting what is 100K as an example. So 100K from right now is 9%. A couple of 2% days, you're there by Sunday, which is, again, going to be interesting. If we were to get really bullish data tomorrow, remember, what do we get tomorrow? GDP growth. Imagine that mother trucker comes in at like 5%. 5.1%. Markets are going to be like, oh my God, it's super crazy bullish. PCE, imagine if that comes in at near flat. Like, everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, Trump's economy is absolutely sending it to the max. It's absolutely skyrocketing. This could then push BTC higher as well, which is worth noting. Just really quickly before we go into any other charts, the other narrative that may start to play out a little bit more interesting is a little bit of a sell-off here on silver. And actually, albeit gold still printing, did actually break 48.91, has sold off a little bit from then as well. So we could get a rollover in the gold and silver market. It's unlikely, like I said, these are definitely hypothetical, maybe unprecedented, but, it could play out. Let's call it that. But for the time being, let's hope BTC closes around 90K, which I think will be important. That definitely gives us a little bit more optimism. And then if this structure plays out in the market, you're looking for the EMA, which is the yellow line here, to flick back bullish. The potential of then the next 2 or 3 days doing 2-3% moves back to our, our box here that we've been sort of discussing for a while. Break this, then you could argue the bull market go or no go zone may well be on the cards. Yeah, tariffs are off for the short term. The EU trade deal, I haven't seen any news about that in terms of whether that got rekindled, but yeah, the EU essentially strong-armed Trump today, which is kind of interesting. It'll be left to see what the actual deal on the table is, but hey, good news. Yeah, the Russell's flying. Tells us what? Tells us people a little bit more interested in some potential risk on assets, which again is good news. But that's kind of where we sit on BTC really quickly. ETH at a critical point right now. We want to see ETH break this. 3033 we're looking for. Bod says breaking news. Oh, is it good actually breaking news? Because Tomato Pete holds me to accountability on this. So, Let's see. Rick Cogswell. What's going on, Rick? Trump also gave them a verbal whooping. I mean, that's true. 100%. And Gavin Newsom as well, which is hilarious. But green light, President Trump announced he will no longer move forward with the tariffs on the group of European allies after reaching a framework of the future deal. Yeah, that's it. And he also, what's the latest one? President Trump says he wants Fed chair like Alan Greenspan of the 1990s. I don't even know who that is, but is that the breaking news that you've got, Bod XRP? Because I'm not seeing anything else. If it's not the tariff news. Yeah, I can't see anything else. Maybe all good news. It's great news. Yeah, 100%. Great news. So ETH looking pretty solid. Now, within these, a couple of nice little movers. Again, we were watching Zebek, and we said, didn't we? Watch out for Zebek hitting the bottom range here, the 2.8. We literally, I think we even called this exact price, 2.822. I feel like that's the price we called as the potential then reversal back to the upside. 5.5% move on that one. Nice little breakout there on that. And Ondo Finance, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm not super crazy bullish on this, but some decent news coming in for Ondo Finance. We'll touch on that in a little bit. XLM, we discussed a little bit yesterday as well. Now, Asta, just to give you some kind of view. Yeah, disappointing on the non-breaking news. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm definitely watching Asta as a potential long. I think there's going to be lots of stuff getting pumped into this. The chart looks like absolute dog shit at the minute, but this could look for an opportunity. It's done 7.5% today. It's something on my mind. Maybe, you know, if we see a little bit of a further push up, getting into around that 70 cents mark with market sentiment, this could play out as a, potential trade there. We're looking for that on that in that one. And then look, a couple of other ones. XCN, a few of you were asking about that yesterday, skyrocketing this Canton move. Like we said yesterday, the 50-day EMA, absolutely super bullish. Hit this perfectly. We talked about this yesterday. Long trade into this. Very nice little print here. I did think it would go a little bit higher. It got rejected here at the 14,860 line, which tells us that this now becomes a pretty critical area of resistance. So, you know, we might take another run at it. Again, if the markets, roll over, this could be a definite short opportunity. But I want to stick way more on the kind of potential upside. So, if we were to break this line, 14.7, you might be tempted to take a long on to around 16.3. May give us momentum if the market comes with us. Another one I'm watching very much closely. And then Zcash. Definitely watching Zcash. I think this could be a nice little trade if it breaks out. I think we could definitely see this pump once again. By the way, I'm not super crazy bullish on Zcash. I just think it could be an opportunity, especially given some of the lines. So what am I looking at? 370 is definitely somewhere that is a key area. Break above 370, may be tempted then to long that into the 20-day EMA, which would be around 420, 415, something like that. By the way, if you want to trade these markets, check out Bitunix, link in the description. Got some amazing sign-on bonuses, trade bonuses, volume bonuses, all of that crazy stuff. All right, get yourselves over there. Definitely worth it. Link in the description. Or join our totally free Discord, baby. You can get the links in there as well. All right, Brad Gallants at Davos with Trump. Yeah, I saw that. And NATO in negotiations on Greenland. Well, we'll talk about that. We're going to get to that in literally a split second. And then memes, would I touch anything? Pump is tempting, but probably not so much at the minute. I want to see some key moves on Pump. Maybe if it comes back down and retests the 50 and the market's still a little bit more optimistic, maybe that could be an opportunity. But at the minute, I'm sort of memes I think are way too volatile. So Zcash looking at potentially Canton if it retraces could be a good one to get involved with. Asta is definitely on my mind. There's a potential trade as well. And then, Sui we were watching yesterday. We talked about this lower range line here. So, if Sui to maybe come down, 133 could actually see us as a significant bounce. We'll see. All right. Not super crazy, right? Not super crazy. Kay Bowers in the building says, never fear for I'm here. What's going on? 700 billion added to the stock market today. Yeah, well, the stock market, just to give you a bit of a quick flavor, was going wild today. So stock market rallied. Again, all of the ones you'd expect, which all had a pretty painful dump. Oracle, by the way, is still continuing down, which is interesting. But Apple, nice little bounce here. AMD was a winner for today. I don't know if you guys saw that. Tesla back above the 431's a nice little breakout on Tesla. You got the total Mag 7 up about 1.2 with the MicroStrategy there, 2.3. And he's been pretty vocal on X today as well. So maybe he's winding up for something coming over the course. Japanese yen, Craig, good news, is declining. More on that in just a minute. But great news on the Japanese yen coming down. And also when you take a look at the Japanese yen versus the US dollar coming down as well. So it's all good news. It's all good news, all right? It's all good news. And the other thing to note, by the way, Treasury yields, we saw a little bit coming back into the US Treasury market, which is fine, all right? That's fine. It's not super crazy, but it is reasonably okay. So we'll keep an eye on the price of Bitcoin. But obviously, this was what got announced today, based upon a very productive meeting that I had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte. Someone was talking about that last night, by the way. Who was that? One of you guys was like, oh, he's meeting with this guy and it's going to be super crazy bullish. Like, look out for it. Well, it turns out it was true. We've formed the framework for a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. I'll give you my opinion on this, by the way. I don't think they've sorted a deal out whatsoever. I think it's a public display of, let's just agree a deal. I didn't want to take Greenland anyway. Just need a deal. You got a protection from the United States. And then I think they've just announced it. But the solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, we will not be imposing the tariffs that was scheduled to go into effect on February 1st. Additional discussions have been held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available at discussions and progress with Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and various others needed responsible for negotiations. They're a part of it. Thank you for your attention. All right, Trumperino, good news. Good news. Gozy, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Hope Nigeria is good. Didn't XCN get partnership with Ripple today? DXN, wasn't it? I did see that. Unless that is some sort of subsidiary or some link to XCN. So it was DXC was the partnership I saw today, integrating with Ripple's institutional blockchain technology. So, yeah. Tim says extra bullish today. Bullish on you, Tim. So, again, good news. Now, for what it's worth, I don't want to get into the politics of all of this, but my opinion is he's got strong-armed by Europe on a number of things. Now, what's important to reference here, and this plays into the crypto market, it does. So you're going to have to stick with me here a little bit because we're going to go a little bit deeper into a couple of important things that could, like I said, completely send the markets back to brand new all-time highs or could absolutely send us Goblin Town, right? So it's important to think about. Hold on a minute. I just need this up. So what do I want to talk about? This is partly the reason why I think Trump got strong-armed, which is all about US assets. Okay, why do I think that? Basically, if you think about where we've been, everyone's kind of retaliated with tariffs. Everyone's gone, oh, well, Donald, we're gonna put some tariffs on you. Look at what Europe did. They were like, well, we're going to slam some tariffs on you. It wasn't until people kind of went, right, actually, tariffs do nothing. We're a exporter rather than import. The consumer market, like we touched on yesterday, is absolutely held by the US. That's where Trump has all his leverage, okay? Because he's essentially has the consumer market. Outside of maybe China, but not really. So the fact here is that you have this massive amount of US treasuries, US bonds, all being held by loads of foreign nations. So we've looked at this before. Japan as an example, China, UK, like we're the second biggest holder of US treasuries. Like the EU zone is about $2 trillion. Like it's a chunk of change, all right? It is a chunk of change. If I can get the actual number, I will tell you. But countries holding US treasury bonds. So basically that's kind of where it is. Now, what's very interesting in this is we know China's been dumping huge amounts of treasury bonds. Right, okay, cool, I've got it here. Look. So it's going to be a bit clunky, but I apologize. So anyway, you can kind of see here, look, Japan is essentially the biggest holder, followed by the United Kingdom, China, Belgium, Canada, Cayman Islands, Luxembourg, France, Ireland, Taiwan, Switzerland, Singapore, Hong Kong, Norway, India, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, blah, blah, blah. When you kind of walk through this, you look at this, look, Germany as an example, Norway, Switzerland, Iceland, France, Canada, the United Kingdom, all of which Trump went after with these tariffs. In my opinion, we have one more dip down before next week so that we are going to start moving February. Maybe no hype. Maybe. This could be the Black Swan event that we all dodged and now we're going to go to the frickin' moon. Let's hope so. But anyway, you can see kind of where they are essentially being held and kind of what's in there, right? So some fairly big amounts of money. And so therefore what you've got here is this is the leverage, right? This is the leverage. So US equities represent the largest portion at $6 trillion, which is totally 58% held by the EU. Now, obviously the US hold a shit ton of treasuries themselves, but that's a chunk of change, right? At the same time, EU holdings of US treasuries stand at $2 trillion, which is 19%, right? So it's a lot. The problem you've got here is, like the EU came out and said, nah, fine, we're going to dump US treasuries then. Like, okay, who cares? Let's dump them, baby. We don't need these. We're going to go self-sufficient. We don't need to hold them. What do people hold? If you're going to dump US treasuries, it's a little bit of a test here. Let's see who gets it, TikTok or YouTube. If you're not going to hold treasuries, now think about what treasuries do. They're a government-backed treasury. So the government prints money, it issues treasuries, and then basically people buy them, right? It's a way of raising capital with debt, right? But they offer yield on them. So 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever it is. But they're backed, right? They're federally backed or they're governmentally backed. So they're a safe asset. That's why companies like them, other countries like them, all of that kind of stuff, right? But let's say, for example, everyone dumps US treasuries and yields spike. Therefore, they become less attractive. And actually, you can then go, where else would people go if they're dumping US treasuries? So if you are, if you're going to dump your US treasuries, let's say you're going to dump $1 trillion of US treasuries, what are you going to go and buy that is classed as a safe haven? It's a less risk on commodity or something else. I'm not saying it might be commodity. Not quite Japan. Think about it. It's a commodity. Gold, Curtis gets it. You're going to buy gold, right? Silver, copper, maybe if you're feeling spicy. So here's kind of where Europe really leveraged this. They said, okay, well, you stick your 15% tariffs on. That's absolutely cool. Don't worry about it. Slam them tariffs on us, baby. We're going to dump US treasuries. Think about this. They hold 58%, right? 58% of what the EU holds are freaking US equities, which is insane. They hold 20% of the US treasury market. So they go, all right, fine. We're going to dump treasuries. We're just going to buy freaking gold. Like, why not? We'll buy silver. We'll go into other things. Well, so all of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, okay. Well, let's not worry about that. That's fine. But then when you understand China is dumping their treasury bonds, and think about this as a number, by the way, $1.316 trillion was what China held back in 2013, 2014, right? You also had someone like Japan with a fair chunk of change as well. Now, China holds $682 billion. Think about that. They've reduced their exposure by 50% to US treasuries, right? This is why we're seeing mortgage rates go up and, challenging the quarters out. But then look where we have in terms of the United Kingdom still buying and Japan still buying. Well, Japan's still buying because their currency is completely screwed and they've got, loads of opportunities to print money that they've got. So here's you kind of where you've got, all right, we've got loads of US treasuries being dumped. This is definitely going to, or could potentially spike markets that people don't like. You can see here, look, European countries hold nearly 40% of foreign US treasuries. Like, that's insane. That's such a big amount. And if all of a sudden they got dumped, it's spike yields in there, and they absolutely would then end up with like mortgage-backed securities getting absolutely nuked. You would get mortgage rates spike through it. What can Trump not afford right now? Any bad news for the economy. He couldn't afford mortgage rates to spike to 5, 6, 7, 8%. He couldn't afford the cost of things to go through the roof. GDP would still be the same, but PCE, CPI, PPI would all absolutely lose their shit, right? So Trump's got to kind of go, well, we just need to be sensible here. And that's why I think this, I don't even think it's a deal, by the way. I just think it's a public announcement more than anything. So this has been the big unwind. This has been the strong arm, because up until that point, it's not been a thing. Now, there's a broader picture that says the whole Greenland thing, in my view, may just be a precursor to what might be coming on Friday, which is exactly as Cryptovaria says, and then we send the bombers, because they may end up somewhere on Friday night. That's just it's almost crazy with this whole just out of nowhere, well, I want to take freaking Greenland. And we've had all of this noise and all the kind of full Trump mechanic of managing this come out, which is pretty wild. But when you think about it that way, this is definitely, in my opinion, going to be a really, really key thing to think about. And I think this is absolutely why Trump's been strong-armed into just easing off. When you then look at what happened with the actual US markets, you can see it. Look at this. The 30-year bond dropping, right? Dropping. If you look at it on a macro scale as well, since about May of last year, these have actually been on the way down. You could argue we have not really seen a bigger move. Yeah, it's ticking up in the slow term on the 30-year, but it's still down a little bit. You can see here, look, on the 10-year. Now, remember, one of the key indicators of inflation, the 10-2 split, is exactly doing the same thing. But look at this. This is the 10-year Treasury. It's declining. Why? Because you're getting countries dumping it. All right? Look at the 2-year. 2 years, very, very similar story as well. 2-year is also in a decline. So the 10-2 split is declining right now, which is super, super interesting. And this is generally what other countries hold. They hold 10-year Treasury yields. They hold the 2 years. So I absolutely believe that Trump has been strong-armed into this and the risk of it. Even I think I named something like Melania or something. She's the Italian prime minister. Forgive me, I don't know exactly what it is. Came out today and she was like, Robert, decouple from the US. Who cares? Sell all our Treasury bonds. Get rid of it. It's fine. It's like, oh my God, Europe is serious. It's the first time actually I think I've ever seen Europe actually do something that's pretty important. But yeah, we need Greenland. Trump wouldn't do it if there wasn't a national threat. Yeah, I mean, is there a national threat though? There could be in the future, 100%. I mean, I don't see it at the minute. I don't think it was necessarily about national security, by the way. Rare earth minerals, and I still think it's about Iran. But, I mean, that's just my opinion, by the way. I could be wrong. But, you know, maybe that'll all turn out to be true in the end, and maybe everyone goes, see, told you, when China occupies, you know, Greenland, but it doesn't feel like it. Because think about it. Even if, like, China went for Greenland, it's still technically a sovereign nation that's funded by Denmark, like, who is a NATO member. You know, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Crazy Kank says, does XRP keep pumping or fall? Well, XRP's up 5% today, so it's a kind of nice move, all right? It's a kind of nice move. All right. So that's kind of my take on this, by the way. Now, what does that mean for the rest of the week? Well, obviously, data's going to come in tomorrow, which we're going to see PCE as well as GDP. Davos, obviously, Trump's speech was a bit of a nothing burger today, but hey, it is what it is. But the overall action thing, above 90K, we're good. We're good. Now, let's pivot. So that's the kind of macro why I think Trump pivoted on his decision, what you need to know about, and I guess probably what we need to watch out in terms of maybe like the EU starts to kind of get all a bit weird about this and the fact that they now think they can just leverage dumping US treasuries, which will be pretty interesting if that kind of happened. I don't see it personally, but you never know. All right, you never know. What does it mean for the crypto market? And is there hope, right? Are we bullish, bearish? What should we be doing? Now, obviously, at the minute, I think the best strategy, just in my opinion, by the way, and it's your money and you should do what you want with it, right? I'm going to tell you what to do. My view is trade cautiously at the minute. But, you know, you look at today, let's look at today in terms of the 30-minute chart, and you can see just how insane and how volatile these markets were. So you think about this, you know, this was kind of last night. This is what we saw, this massive dump, you know, Goblin Town down here to the bottom. We then sort of got a rally. Asia stepped in and bought the market all the way back up here. So Asia, you know, if you think about it, came in and bought over 2.5%, right? Good. That was some nice volume, consistent buying pressure, buying the dip. And I'll show you that in a minute. Obviously, then we sort of get into early morning. We get things like the Indian Stock Exchange open. We get a little bit of a dump. And then we obviously got Europe open as well. So you can see here, the European markets opened here. Now, this was kind of Trump not going in with military force. He said, no, I'm not going to use military force. Markets are like, yes. Boom, shakalaka. Let's go. 2.5% move to the upside. Then the EU went, well, trade deals off. The market's just nuked all the way down. You know, we went from 90,300 and nuked to 87,500, like $3,000 in an hour. Like just absolute free fall, which is kind of insane. And then obviously we come back up. Trump's like, yeah, we're fine. It's cool. We're working through some deals. Super volatile. So my point here would be very much chill out. Don't rush into decisions. Like I said, some of these trades I'm looking at getting into, I'm happy to wait the markets out. I'm happy to take the optimal entry in that. I will obviously post it in the premium Discord as and when I take those trades on. If you want to get access to that, don't forget to become a channel member or check out our Whoop link. You can join through there as well, which gives you access to our premium Discord, including both of our bots that'll support your TA decisions, AI generated views of charts, as well as any DeFi as well. You can do all of that. All within that. It's like $6, $7, $8 a month, depending when you sign up. Super, super good. And then obviously we'll be putting our trade alerts on there, any views of the markets, and just join it. It's totally free, by the way. If you want to get a little bit more access, you can at $6. All right. BTC has so much institutional influence. I don't think the rest of crypto gives a crap what BTC does now. Maybe it will change at some point when XRP takes over. I mean, that's true, Unrusted. This is the title of tonight's stream. Is Bitcoin or is crypto essentially under government control? Now, you would argue and say, absolutely not. But you're thinking about it too linearly. You're thinking about it, does the government own Bitcoin? No, no, no. Think about it. This volatility today, right? Think about that. This volatility here and this is essentially Donald Trump, right? One tweet from Donald Trump, one announcement from Donald Trump, one change from Davos for Donald Trump, Marcus Nuke, all right? Is crypto under government control? 100% at this moment. And I don't mean the actual coins. I mean the influence on them. What's interesting to note here, by the way, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ all in a similar sort of place that they're getting hugely manipulated on these markets. What's the name of that chart pattern? That was the Trump pattern. Besides XRP and Bitcoin aren't even comparable. I mean, yeah, that's probably true. I love Trump. He's my boy. Hey, look. Again, I'm not getting into the yes or no, but you can't deny this is a massive, I mean, I don't know what, I think, is this the pattern you were talking about, Mark? For me, this is obviously two eyes, and then it's a big nose, isn't it? That's where I'm at in terms of that chart pattern. Anyway, Vern, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Thank you, man. I appreciate the heart me's and the Go Populars. Legend. Absolute legend. Thank you so much. Thoughts on Jasmy? I'm still holding my Jasmy. It's moved well today, actually. It's up 6%. It's outperforming the general average of the market. So, yeah, I still think there's some upside to come. Right. Let's bring it back. I want to show you a couple of interesting charts. Right. Whales and exchanges. What do you note here? Buying the dip. All right. So you can see here, these are essentially where we've seen massive amounts of buying pressure coming in here on the whale, the whale charts. We saw that back in November. See a little bit down here as well. So you can see some significant buying, not super crazy numbers. Obviously, we saw that back in the last year, but look, arguably, I did not mean to do that. That's what I meant to do. You can see here, look, starting to come back in with a good amount of buys. What's important here, by the way, the dark purple. So you can see this range at the top is new issuance. These are new wallets buying significant amounts of Bitcoin, anything over 1,000 Bitcoin. Obviously, when it dips below here, these are selling. So you can see there that actually there's almost more new wallets over the last 30 days buying Bitcoin than there is not. All right. I don't know if you guys want to see this on TikTok, just so you can get a bit of a flavor. Tell them what your flavor is. There you go. Look. So again, you can see here just in terms of what we're talking about. But these are, you can see there that these are essentially where the new whales are. So these are new people, new wallets buying huge amounts of BTC here on the right. Now, that's not all though, because you've got retail holders here with over or less than 100 Bitcoin. What's super interesting about this is the amount of aggressive selling we got in at the back end of last year. And then this kind of reasonably flat move now on the, where they sit right now. So we're not seeing anything super crazy. The important bit here is we're actually seeing lower buys coming into the market. What does that tell us? These tell us essentially these are newer or smaller wallets, historically therefore seen as more retail investors versus the broader big new markets. You can see new listings here. Again, this is kind of where we've just got the new amount of Bitcoin coming in on this point. But generally speaking, what you've got, the dark orange here, obviously anything between 1 and 10. The light, which is the bulk of it, are obviously 10 to 100 Bitcoin. So again, we're seeing way more small buys. Like I said, could signal the fact that that is a retail purchase as opposed to anything else. Now, when you double down on this, which is the hodler dashboard, how do we know what people are doing? Well, look at this. Short-term holders, yet again, absolutely FOMO selling the market. Oh my God, it's over. You don't have to look at crypto Twitter, don't you? The market's over. We're going to zero. I mean, for the first time, I thought we were going to zero today, but they're like, oh, I'm just going to sell all my bags. Sell, get out, quick. I don't want to do it anymore. Interesting, by the way. While at the same time, he's got futures funding rates are actually ticking up. So you've got short-term sellers selling. Futures are going, well, look, we might get a little bit more of a relief right here. We may definitely get a little bit more upside momentum. Now, that could be pretty interesting. And then short-term MVRV, a good solid indicator of where market sentiment is and I guess how this is all going to play out. You can see here, the short-term cost base is 97.7. So a lot of these short sellers today are selling at a loss. Does that mean you essentially mean that it's going to push the price further down, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing right now. But this bottom left one here, look, short-term holder MVRV. What are we seeing on here? Well, if you take back from where we see market moves back to the upside. So look at April, for example. If we go back here on BTC, I'm going to jump around a little bit. So stick with me, people. It's going to be a little bit jumpy, a little bit of a jump around, okay? So go back to April. What did we see in April? We got a nice rally out of April, okay? So let me close this, just so we're on it. So you can see here, look, we came out pretty much the end of April. The 21st of April, we saw the uptrending here on the MVRV indicator into a positive trend. What does that mean on here? Well, if you look here, the 21st of April was literally there, which signaled the bottom, and then we rallied up to that new all-time high. So you could argue, oh, well, that's interesting too, bit. Maybe we're starting to see something play out very similar. As you can see here, it's a similar pattern. Go back to 2024 in September. You can see here the breakout about the 15th of September. What did we get here on the charts? Well, you have to go back here. 15th of September was where we started to rally again to the medium high before we obviously rallied up. So when you take a look at the MVRV right now, what is it telling us? Well, it's telling us that we could be in a similar pattern to back end of last year in 2024, and that actually this could start to pull up. The bull case in this scenario would be that we just had the last black swan that basically collapsed the markets. Everyone freaked out that not only was Trump going to invade Greenland, the EU was going to cease any trade deals, and the Bank of Japan was going to completely collapse entire global markets. That's a pretty big black swan, but what do we get? Well, we got a 3% move on Bitcoin and we're back above 90,000. All right, maybe we dodged the black swan. Maybe GDP comes in bullish. Maybe PCE comes in great. Could be absolutely amazing. Who knows? Shannon, what's going on? Says, hi, bro. Do you think of the yen carry trade? I don't think it's a problem anymore. I mean, it did it yesterday, but we'll talk about it in a minute. I'm just going to get onto it. Japanese bonds dumped their absolute backside on it. The Japanese bonds basically went for a curry and have basically shit themselves since then. So it's kind of all right. I mean, not super all right because it's still there, but don't forget, they go and dissolve government in about 3 days. So there'll be brand new fiscal policy coming in, which could be, good to a degree. We'll have to sort of wait and see how that plays out. But I thought this was super interesting. Short-term holders, MVRV indicator might be about to tick to the upside, which historically over the course of the last certainly 12 months has then led to a rally in BTC. So think about what we just talked about in the first part of the show. You have got a moving green candle, which is back into support range, which could have just done a higher low, which potentially is now going to print to the upside. Great. We potentially then have the MVRV indicator about to flick bullish, which tells us that maybe that's going to start pushing back up as well. You then have also short-term holders selling at a loss. Well, the short-term holders will hold on to their coins and not dump them. These are all catalysts that could drive us at a way higher price, which I think is important. Larry Fink has also come out and gone, hey, guys, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're the crypto tokenization. They are the theme of 2026, all right? Go on, Larry. Beautiful. Japan's raising rates tomorrow, and you're not worried about the carry trade. Okay. Are they raising rates tomorrow? Are you sure? I don't think they are. They're dissolving government. But I don't think it's tomorrow, is it? Am I missing something? Yeah, Friday. Yeah, I don't think they're expected to raise rates, though. I think you're wrong. I'm not calling you out, by the way, but I actually think you're wrong. They're literally about to dissolve government and start an entirely new government with brand new fiscal policy. So I think they're meeting Friday, but I don't think it's expected to be a rate hike. I mean, I might be wrong, but remind me. Let's take a look at it. But I don't think you're right. I think stable rates, dissolve government. I think they've gone for that one. But unless if someone can find that, that's great. Japan said they were raising rates Jan 23rd. Okay. The snap election is Feb 8th for us. Ooh, interesting. Well, we'll take a look at it. Remind me. Let's get through this, then we'll have a look at it. But yeah, so BlackRock, Larry Fink goes bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Why is it important? Because they already have ETFs. They want to drive more ETFs. They want to bring, obviously, Ethereum staking ETFs, all that kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, Larry Fink's gone bullish on the markets. All right, good. Quick update on some other news. Solana and Ondo Finance. This is pretty interesting and bullish news, by the way. They launched 200 tokenized stock ETF bonds and commodities on Solana, expanding on-chain RWH. Great. Which is great. Did they announce Kirsch yet? I don't think so. Do you trade crypto only on stocks too? Not really. I don't really trade stocks, in fairness. Crypto, yes, but not as much as you might think. However, over the last, 2 months, we're 100% on our trades. Bullish. Like I said, we do post that in the Discord as well, which is worth getting into. But yeah, this is good news for Ondo, by the way. And I still think Ondo is pretty cheap as well at the minute. All right, good. Okay, Japanese bonds then. Let's get it. Let's get into it. I know I delayed that for a minute, but let's get into it. So they dumped about 4.5% today on the announcement that Japan will be dissolving government and starting again, really. So let's have a look. Bank of Japan. Here we go. Bank of Japan signals more rate hikes as yen. That was a day ago. What's this? Bank of Japan expects to keep rates steady ahead of the February's election. Okay, so let's have a look at this article then. But anyway, Japanese bonds, by the way, did dump today, which is good news. And we definitely want to see that a little bit more. So let's take a look at this article here. So yeah, Bank of Japan expects to keep rates steady ahead of the February election. Bank of Japan is expected to hold steady at a 2-day policy meeting that begins Thursday, even as Japanese government bonds remain volatile and the yen continues to weaken. All right, it takes time for the effects of monetary policy changes to manifest, said Shichiri Kobayashi, chief economist at Mitsubishi UFJ Research. All 52 BOJ watchers surveyed by Bloomberg earlier this month predicted no rate increases at the BOJ policy meeting, which ends Friday. All right, so yeah, I thought it was going to be flat. The banded policy rate last month to 0.75 from 0.5, taking Japan's borrowing cost to a 30-year high. That's the thing. Like, they could totally screw themselves on inflation if they're not careful as well. So they definitely need to tread carefully on this, I think. Tuesday, the benchmark 10-year government bond briefly touched 2.38, which is a 27-year high. Upward pressure on yields is driven not only by the Bank of Japan's raising rate stance, but also by growing concerns of the Prime Minister Sane Takachini's explosion. Yes, it's like billions of dollars that she's like, oh yeah, we're just going to raise some more debt and just like absolutely like launch fiscal policy in. Taki said the ruling bloc wins. The government will consider reducing the 8% consumption tax on food to 0 for 2 years to help households struggle with inflation. Jesus. Freaking wow. Wild. According to Bloomberg, July emerges top pick for the timing of the next rate hike. Of 48% of those polled, April, June followed with 17%. So, yeah, I guess at the minute, maybe not. The yen has been weakening since Takashini took power in October. It was trading around 147 yen against the dollar. It's now at 157. Bank of Japan said it's carefully assessing the economic situation and especially the impact of US tariffs. Analysts said of what really pushed the central bank to raise rates last month. So we are, I guess, expecting it to... We're expecting them to hold on Thursday and Friday. I mean, maybe they rise, but yeah. I mean, I still think, by the way, I still think the Japanese carry trade unwound by an absolute fortune. So I don't think it's as big a deal as people maybe think it is. That's just my opinion. And if you think about the last time they did it, we didn't really see a movement in the market. I feel like the market actually pumped that day, but maybe not. Good. 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, and 40-year all dropped off a bit. So that's good. Yeah. Liberty, that is good. Yeah. That is good. I'm all on Hello Kitty Island Adventures doesn't mean it's worth the time. I mean, that's true. True. Starbucks, as I told you, I sold gold and silver ages ago. Yeah, I missed the blow up top. Yeah, well, when gold gets to 5,000, then it's a problem. But anyway, so yeah, Bank of Japan expect to keep rates flat. So let's see, by the way. Rusty Bright, yeah, make sure you're in the Discord, by the way. It's a good job we didn't launch it. We would have got wrecked, actually, over the last thing. But yeah, it's all good to go. Click of a button and we're rocking and rolling. So, but yeah, where's oh yeah, Nick Jones there. Has Nick Jones just left? Just come in and said, oh no, not who was the person that said that I'm like retarded? Who was it? Oh, it was Nick Jones. Is he just gone? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Just come in, drop like a statement, and then leave. Oh, what's going on, Beta Max? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Welcome. All right, so yeah, let's keep an eye on Bank of Japan. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Unless they go something crazy and do like 1% or something, which would be freaking insane. But Citi sees risk of 3 Bank of Japan rate hikes in 26 on the weekend. So we'll keep an eye on it. Nick, there we go. Look, I think it's going to be flat. Now, they may raise them, but it looks like it's going to be flat, Nick, in my opinion. But and I guess the opinion of the Japan Times, which looks like it is. Good. All right. Brilliant. We just got banned on TikTok for hate speech. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously. Although we just get told off. I think I might have just got told off, actually. Did I just get told off? Maybe I just got told off. I think I just got told off. All right. I think we're fine. I'm sorry. I wasn't. There was no hate speech here, by the way. None at all. Yeah, I have no idea. TikTok's a bit wild sometimes. A bit wild. I don't think it's come up on anything, so we're fine. We're fine. Hopefully, I'll be watching it either way. Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, what do we want? You probably want flat rate on the Japanese markets. Hopefully, and equally, probably until then, we see the Japanese yields come down. Like I said, they're chucking loads of money into it. And if it does spike, then yeah. But I definitely think it's not come up. It's not. I've not been like, yeah. I've just been told off. That's all. So it's fine. It's fine. It's not. They've not actually done anything. So we're fine. All right. Good. Now, other little couple of snippets, by the way. Huge banks to go fully into crypto. Do you see this? David Sachs saying that banks are expected to go fully into crypto once the market structure legislation is out. TradFi isn't waiting on tech. It's waiting on rules. I mean, this could be another catalyst. This could be another big catalyst if we get it, maybe. I mean, I'd hope for that. Yeah, we get jobless claims tomorrow, by the way. 195 expectation versus 198 previous, which would say that that's a decline, which is good news. How high do you see Ondo going at the peak of the bull run? I mean, I'd like to see Ondo at a couple of bucks. Remember, I've always said this, by the way. If they onboard the Treasury markets, $15 trillion, like, understand how crazy Ondo is going to go at that point. They've just got to get it on there, which, by the way, 200 listed on there today, which is good. But yeah, banks essentially are going to be flocking into Bitcoin. on David Sachs, all right? And he's like, what is he, the crypto czar or something? So that could be good news. Hopefully it all plays out, but worthwhile thinking about, in my opinion. Job unemployment's tomorrow. Yeah, jobless is, yeah. Oh yeah, maybe that was it, Crackerjack. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, maybe that is exact. I did, as it was like coming out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, you probably shouldn't be saying this, but anyway. Hey, mate, XRP falls out and drops. Well, if the broader market does, then yeah, we might end up coming down. What do you think on an ABCD on the daily? What? What do you mean? Bro, check out. We got extra. Okay. Yeah, we can have a look at it. Crypto meme coins going on. Yeah, if you said XRP is a fake out, you'd have to say the entire market's a fake out right now. But yeah. And then this is the last thing that I thought was super, super interesting. The Lisa Cook Supreme Court. So in one sentiment, you've got the US Supreme Court going, well, we're not going to vote on tariffs today. And the other one, you've literally got them like, yep, well, let's go after her. It's pretty interesting. I don't think there's a ruling being done on this yet. But pretty interesting anyway. Trump's trying to go after it. Apparently, they believe that he does have the ability to fire somebody in the Federal Reserve, which would be wild. May count down the timing until someone else goes that's at the Federal Reserve. We'll see. But yeah. The ABCD formation on Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. One of the patterns we like, the ups, down, up. The only thing is that wick down on the 20-day EMA, the spike and then the down is kind of a bit wild, isn't it? It's kind of a bit wild. You probably need a slightly broader time scale, or maybe even a shorter time scale. But I think it's too geopolitical to kind of call it a specific point. Apparently not, Unrusted. Yeah, apparently not. So we'll see. And then finally, look at this. Pepe's reversal move. Pepe might be a trade to take a look at. She should be fired on the spot. I mean, that's probably not far off, Alpha. Pepe's finally entering a critical phase of recent price action, suggesting market is actively pushing out the bears. Pepe looking like it might break out to the upside. Let us see. Where does that look for us? Around 5.3 could be the range here on the daily candles. Breaking above. Again, this would be another one that we'll probably need to keep an eye out for a potential break. The only thing to be mindful of, though, is you have a higher high, you then have a higher low, and then again down here as well. But if Pepe were to break back above about 557, might start to potentially print us a nice little uptrend on here. So, not Bitcoin. Or what was it, Shine? What did you say? Oh, do you mean on the total market cap? On the total market cap. So, yeah, Pepe might be a trade. We'll see. I remember about 5 years ago this time of year buying XRP for sub 30 cents. If only I had money back then to buy more. Well, Ricky Ricardo, it's always the same. I remember buying Bitcoin for $2,000 a Bitcoin back in 2017. Bro, I should have mortgaged my house. Although I didn't own a house at that point, but it would have been fun. You can't say, yeah, I know. The main vein, I know. Honestly, as it came out, I'm like, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. And it just came out. I couldn't help myself, all right? I couldn't help myself. Anyway. Hey, what is also good, by the way, if you are interested, this is going to be a bit of a shill. I don't know if you can see this, but obviously I'm trying to, and TikTok should listen to this. I'm trying to do some stuff on TikTok, right? But look at this. All right, this is available on my TikTok shop. Look at this. It's cool mouse mat with all of some very, very, very basic trade setups. All right, can you guys see that? Look how bullish this is. Look how bullish it is. All right, I know you can't see my face, but yeah, check it out. These where you can be sat here trading away, and I'm like, oh, what does a descending triangle look like? All right, I bet some people are like, oh my God, you use a mouse mat for your trading strategies, but hey, check it out. You can get one in my TikTok shop. It's about six quid. Absolute steal. So yeah, how good is that? Trying to work our way through TikTok shop. Bullish on that. It's a T-towel. It's not. It's an extended mouse. It's enormous. It's bullish. Look at that. It's got wedges on there. It's got inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's got, what else has it got? Bearish. It's got an inverse cup and handle. Inverse pennant. I mean, it's got all the things you're ever going to need. Bullish. 2-bit Temu. It was about 6 quid. It's worth it. But if you want to get one on TikTok shop, you can. I get a little commission on it. It's bullish. All right. Anyway, back in the game, everybody. But yeah, it's super. What I did notice, hence why it's there, is once I put it on my desk that has my keyboard, my mouse, my stream deck, my microphone, everything else, I literally can't see it anyway. So it's completely pointless. But if you were just on a small keyboard with a mouse and you were just trading, then it might be an opportunity for you. All right. Good stuff, everybody. Good stuff. that sort of brings us through that. So what have we touched on tonight, which I think is important? Just let's recap dead quick. I feel like I'm at work here. But we've talked about US Treasuries. Trump doubling back on his initials. He did an absolute taco. All right. So Trump always chickens out when it comes to this. I do absolutely believe this isn't him backing down. This is him being strong-armed from the EU, which I think is pretty interesting. Whether this goes on to kind of do anything else, I'm not sure that it will. But what it does mean is that we have definitely seen a potential relief rally in the markets with some good amount of capital coming back in, which is great. We talked about US Treasuries and why that's going to be a good indicator to keep an eye out for. But like we said, we've got some big news coming tomorrow. So just to give you an update on that, GDP growth rate, quarter over quarter. The previous was 3.8, revised up to nearly 5%. 4.3 is the new consensus plan, which would be pretty bullish. So you're looking for anything north of 4.3 would be very good in terms of GDP. You got initial jobless claims coming in. Remember, this will essentially tell us whether rate cuts are going to come sooner or later. January's a write-off. I know some people think we're getting a rate cut in January. We're definitely not. That is absolutely a 100, well, it's not 100% actually, a 99.9% not going to happen. Remember, that is a week from today. Currently 95% not going to happen. You also got a little bit in terms of core PCE month-over-month index. Expectation is 0.1 versus previous of 0.2. That would tell us that cost of stuff is coming down. Could be another bullish signal. Bad for rates. Good for strengthening the markets, I guess, a little bit. And personal income month-over-month and personal spending will tell us whether there is demand or whether consumers are still out there shopping. Remember, Christmas sales were pretty epic. But personal income will tell us, what does it feel like? Do they feel like they have more money or not? Remember, people with more money are more likely, statistically speaking, to invest in risk assets, hopefully. All right, good. Someone's come in and just put 3 messages already. Good. It's not like I can't read it, but anyway, thank you so much for that. Bitcoin, I'm sure we'll drop 2 bombs on gold and silver after they move first. All right. Let's hope so. Quid is what Brits call their fiat currency. Yeah. A quid is a change in the shopping trolley. Yeah, I mean, you don't get a lot for a quid nowadays. You definitely don't get a lot for a quid nowadays. So, yeah. You might get a chomp. Oh, five times? Is that 5 times? Bullish. Bullish. Keep doing it. It's great. It's great. I haven't read it yet. So you've thought 4 times. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times. Oh, I can't believe 6 times. I can't believe I hadn't seen it. All right. Good news. So Bitcoin here holding just above 2%, which is kind of nice. We've got the combined order in here, by the way, just to kind of give you a bit of a flavor of where we are. So these are the futures markets. Some pretty heavy contracts coming in. 6 times. Do it once more and you're getting yeeted, by the way. Once more and you're yeeted out. All right. And I will just let one of the mods yeet you. So yeah, if they do it once more time, just yeet them, please. One of the mods. So yeah, again, we can see here. Look, this is the futures market. Actually, a little bit of optimism returning. Let's see. I yeeted him already, crypto various. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to sort of push back. These are futures contracts. Don't forget. The best one is probably to look at spot markets. I did email from Temu, but I don't know if it was legit today, asking me if I want to partner up with them. I don't know if it was legit or not, but yeah, I'm cool for the short term. Let's get the spot markets up here. I've got pre-market data here as well. I don't know if it's worth it. When is Panic relaunching? I don't think it is. I don't think it is, to be honest. I'm honest. Dow up, S&P up. Russell continue to rally. Look at that. The Russell at 27.11 is pretty big. 3.23 up on the open, potentially 375 there on the futures. On the NASDAQ is looking pretty optimistic as well. Asia markets look like they're going to open nicely. HSI is going to open at about 0.37, which is bullish. Shanghai looks like it will open a little bit. STI about flat. Thereabouts. Commodities look like they'll open. Silver looking like it might take a hit, which is kind of pretty interesting. And then we get the Treasury market looks flat. I wonder, can we see what because Bank of Japan is between midnight and 1, right? This is kind of not what I wanted, but we'll see if we can make this work. We'll see if we can make this work. I was hoping for a live kind of view of where the Japanese bond futures are, which we kind of have it here. So a little bit of a gain here, 131. So this is the total bond futures market as a collective. So bonds. Let's have a look. Supreme Court continues to kick the can down the road. Yeah, Beebs, 100%. I don't think they vote on it, by the way. I don't think they vote on it at all anytime soon. It's just my opinion. Just my opinion. All right. Let's see if we can get this up. Okay, so here we are. So yeah, so every single one of the Japanese market closed as a negative today, right the way through. Look at that. You guys see that? So every single one of them closed as a negative. So that's good news. You know, you want to see the Japanese bond markets come down, stabilize the yen a little bit. That could then play a little bit more favorably into risk assets, essentially. So yeah, let's hope it continues in tomorrow. That'd be good news. And equally, we want to see this run continue on BTC. Like I said, I think it's all going to be about data tomorrow. Is it going to be good or not? That's what we've got to think about. Got to go feed the critters. God bless you. Have a great night. See you later on Rusted. Good to see you, man. There's a reason for Supreme Court delay. Wait and see. Yeah, 100% there is. I have no patience for ignorant people. That includes spammers. 100% crypto various. Sir, please look at what River BOJ rate decision Friday. Yeah, I mean, I think they hold, is my view. But yeah, I mean, it's the IEPA tariffs, isn't it? He's already said he'll go down a different route. Maybe. We can talk about that tomorrow. No Supreme Court is not 100% in Trump's favor. They legit need to read the law. So he said, look at silver. It's got a dollar sign. See you later, Daniel. It's got a dollar sign in front of it. I thought it was a DeFi play. XCN's been doing very, very well. XCN was skyrocketing again today. XCN up 15%. Man, look at Canton. That's just not slowing down as well. Yeah, XCN bullish. However, rejected at the 20. So this might come back down again. Depending on what the market does tomorrow, you may get a retest of the 50 here at 6.9. This is what I'm saying. Some of these trade opportunities, in my opinion, are where we could see them push down. And if the markets, you know, do take a little bit of a cool off tomorrow, which is possible after the insanity that we've seen today, then maybe you get an opportunity to jump in, but we'll see. Is it River that's on BNB that's at $47 a coin? Is it that? Is it that one? I mean, it looks pretty freaking insane if it is. Is it a $2 billion market cap? Is it this? Although it can't be this. It's only done $3.80 in volume. No, it can't be this. Is this the coin though? It has a lot of liquidity though. It just has zero volume. River USDT. I don't know what it is. Volume 139k. Is it this one? Maybe it's this one. $46 a coin. I don't even know what it is. Don't even know what it is. But yeah, XCN's kind of holding up all right in fairness. XCN is holding up all right. As is Canton, by the way. That's an amazing bounce off that. Rejected here at this line, 14.8. If it breaks that, Canton might be sending to a new all-time high. Maybe. Maybe. Part Sonny said, do not touch River USDT. There we go. I have no intention, by the way. How's Swiftcoin doing these days? Let's take a look. We have it on here, actually, somewhere. It is here. Up about 0.9. Not great is what I would say. Not great, and is in definitely a macro downtrend as well. So yeah, I'd be mindful. Albeit you've got a flip on the MACD down here, which could be good news. Maybe it's about to start printing to the upside. RSI, MACD both trending to the upside. Maybe good news. Maybe good news. How's Courage doing? I have no idea. What is it? CCDOD. I imagine they're all wrecked out these. Down 1.4%. It is at 170k market cap. It's done $200 volume, so not great. Not great. New Carino. Buying USD is like buying dollars that can be burned off. I mean, that's true. That is true. Okay. What time are we on? 21:54. Vern, are we live again tonight or not? I can see you in TG. Are we back live again, bro? Bottom feeding. It looks like it. All meme coins end up the same way, all right? Unless you end up with something like Pepe or Bonk or Brett or something insane, which, that, you know, there has to be. And there hasn't been one for a while, by the way. Everyone thought white whale was going to be the new big thing, and it wasn't. No, I'm down for it, by the way. I'm 100% down for it. 100% down for it, mate. So, yeah, as long as you're good to go, then, yeah, I'm cool. I'm absolutely 100% cool. We'll get it live and direct on TikTok. Vern and I will be live, I'm assuming. As long as you're good, just let me know you're good and we can do it. Curtis says hello as well, Vern. A hot 45 hour. What does that mean? All right, cool. All right, yeah. So Vern and I will be live half an hour-ish after this stream finishes, all right? So 10:30 UK time, which is normally, what is that, 5:30 Eastern? And Vern says, what up, Curtis? Man, this is weird. All right, everybody. It's super bullish. We've got like 140, 145 people in here right now. We've got about 20 people on TikTok as well. Shout out everybody that's tuning in. Don't forget, if you haven't already hit the like and the subscribe button, I highly recommend doing so. Do check out the links in the description if you want to grab that entry into our free Discord, right? Also, FYI, by the way, in the free Discord, we had some scammers in there, but they couldn't get past the verification phase. So the only people that saw it were Curtis and Craig, because they're admins in there. Boys, I sent you a little DM as well. You guys have got the staff chat, which you get into if you want to talk about it rather than the help screen. But they didn't get into our main Discord, which is bullish. And I've not heard anyone be like, oh, loads of scammers are getting me. Someone did message me the other day and they were like, this scammer's trying to scam me. And they weren't even in the channel because they can't get in. Bullish, everybody. All right. So we are really starting to get our Discord is great, good community, and dare I say it, reasonably safe as well, because I personally vet every single account that applies to come into it, and again to see if they get in. And if they can't simply do if they can't simply do the verification bit, they don't get in. Simple as that. All right. But yeah, it's good news, by the way. It's good news. So it looks like you guys saw this stat. All right, cool. Craig, the others are bots, by the way. The only people that can see this staff chat is you, Curtis, and Jesse. I don't know where Jesse is. I mean, he's never here, but the rest are bots, by the way. They're all like the bots for the channel. So yeah, so it's great. Like I said, we verify every single person that's going in there. And my opinion, by the way, is that if people are in there and they're not chatting and they're just lurking, we'll start yeeting some of these people out as well. Good on Fairground. Good to see you, bud. Welcome in. Always good to have you in, my mate. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, so that's kind of bullish, isn't it? It's great. We've got a great community and it's all good. How high can BTC go? Well, there has been a lot of debate right now of a potential move from, potential move from this. People calling 200K. I think even some I think CZ's calling for like 200K. But if you take, let's say you take a, bottom of the bear market. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. That is not what I wanted to do, actually. As a potential move here, looks bottom of the bear market. Where could we see us getting to? Well, historically, the 618 Fibonacci is generally a solid sign. That puts us at $149,000. If you were to do it on a macro trend-based Fibonacci, the 1618 is obviously macro, super crazy, bullish 2-bit, 262,000. I think that's very unlikely. But if you said the 618 is around 150, the 786 at 168 is probably super max bull case, in my opinion. If you was to say from the sort of trend here, where do we get to? The 2618, similar lineup, 250, we said that, didn't we? 1618, 154. So, if it's a big if, we get, bullish news, banks buying in, macro trends are all about it. Everyone's FOMOing like crazy into BTC. Gold, silver, commodities are collapsing, which, by the way, worth noting here, by the way, just on gold and silver, generally speaking, when you have an overcooked RSI, it is normally, like we said yesterday, then followed quite aggressively with a dump. So you can see here, look, whenever the RSI gets over about 99-ish, we see a correction on gold. It's happened here, and potentially could be about to happen. Not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but, could absolutely happen. And we could see a gold rollover, which generally would coincide with a Bitcoin pump. Silver's kind of a similar sort of story as well. So, the question would be, what would be the catalyst for gold to roll over? That's the thing. And, at the minute, it would be an increase in Treasury yields. That would see markets potentially, liquidate assets. Oh, sorry, declining Treasury yields, which means people are buying them again. So if there was like an announcement, like the EU have like cooled it off with Trump, They're back buying again. They commit to buy, $10 billion worth of US treasuries. Like China start buying again. Japan's like, okay, everything's fine with our currency. It's going to be great. We're not going to buy. I already have, by the way, Henri. I literally have. I don't know where you were, but I literally already looked at it. Then, yeah, you could see that come down. That could definitely then see gold dump as people potentially go into a bit more risk. That could be a thing, but it's not going to happen yet. I mean, we talked about yesterday, didn't we? The potential of a bull market run would be at least another maybe month. You get into kind of February, March time, potentially is where you would get a move, but we'll see. I mean, you can take a look at it here on, if we were to take a look at Bitcoin returns, just an example. Q1 still playing pretty favorably here, both ETH and BTC. You can see January's generally a good move. February could see, so you could see January, February, March, April maybe could continue to the upside. You start getting to a little bit of sticky water. Maybe May is the top. If we were going to go into another big bull market, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. The ISM data will be the big one. We get that. I think the first week of Feb, did we say? I think it's the first week of Feb. We'll see. I do think it's going to 70K. I think Bitcoin goes high before lower. Bear market case, we got, 65 to 72, I think it was kind of where we were. So the next big announcement on ISM is here. Yeah, so Monday the 2nd of Feb, you get ISM manufacturing PMI, which is 47.9, which is still a consistent downtrend. We looked at this before since September, but actually has been a macro downtrend the whole of 2025, with the exception of June that saw a little bit more of an upside momentum. But 2025 is basically just down to Goblin Town, all right? So, maybe 2026 flips around, starts to be a little bit more optimistic. We start to get a bit more bullish. Maybe that drives markets. This aligns to a lot of thesis around, PMI, ISM, and the debt rollover, which all could be good things as well. All right, good. Don't forget, by the way, if you haven't hit the like button or hit the subscribe button, I highly recommend it. We've got about 70 likes on the stream, 150 of you guys in the stream. It'd be great if you get a like. Likewise on TikTok. If you want to tap that screen, then that would be greatly appreciated as well. Remember, we live stream 6 days a week, everybody. 6 days a week. Also, good news, by the way, I'm on holiday from my normal 9-to-5 job in literally, not next week, the week after. So working this week, working next week, and then I'm off for a week. Bullish. So we're going to get TikTok set up so we can see the screen. We're going to get all this kind of done. We're going to get things jazzed up a little bit. It's going to be great. All right. It's going to be super great. Shall we say bull run next year, mate? If it's going to be any time fairground, it's this year. If it don't come in 2026, it's sure as eggs is eggs coming in 27. In my opinion, right? In my opinion. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. At least I know Australia look worse than Canada at this point. I mean, that's maybe true. I don't know. I think we see 100K or higher before 70K. I definitely feel like we could see a 100K retest. I definitely feel like that could be on the cards. And again, the reason why I think that is because look at the last 24 hours, for example. We've gone from absolutely expecting Goblin Town to, well, we're back above the trend line and we're kind of where we were, before all this kind of kicked off. So, I think there's definitely an opportunity out there. But yeah, $700 billion added back to the US stock market today. That's pretty wild, isn't it? That is pretty wild, if you ask me. Moments ago, President Trump, after announcing a framework for a future deal on Greenland, reported, how did you do the deal? It's a great deal for everybody. Are the tariffs on the table completely off the table now? The tariffs are off based on the fact that it looks like we have a concept of a deal. There you go. There you go. If you want to go and get a country, just literally strong arm your way in. CZ says we'll speak on the panel at the WEF in person in Davos tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Then a CNBC interview at 3 local time. If you've got nothing better to do, tune in. All right, CZ's going bullish on the news. Let's reply. I will be there. CZ, bro. Not in person, I might add. Tibet needs Goblin Town merchandise. Let's do it. Right, breaking news. Putin Trump can use our frozen billions to restore prosperity after a peace deal. Russia is discussing with the US the use of a Russian's frozen assets to restore territories affected by the fighting after a peace treaty between the Russia and Ukraine. Wow, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Maybe the Ukraine-Russia wars could... Oh, hey, this could even be more bullish than we thought. Come on, CZ. Yeah, for a second then I thought you put come on CC, which would be Canton Coin, which is now cut 17%. It's about to break the trend line. Oh, he should have been in this trade. What happened to us? We're such noobs. The 50-day EMA, he was calling, it was shouting. I even said it last night. Oh, why did we put everything on it? I'm kidding, TikTok. Don't ban me again. All right, good. Good. All right, what time is it? Man, it's 10:05. Where did that last hour and like 10 minutes go? What the actual, bro? What the actual? All right, good. Okay, well, that does kind of bring us to that point. Anything going crazy right now that we need to be aware of? Oil is flat. That's not doing anything super crazy. Oil's actually up. Wow, 2% on oil, bro. Gold futures are up. Silver futures are down. Some altcoins. I mean, pub's up 13%. Like, what the bro? Come on. Man, look at this. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to break this trend line here. Man, Canton's going to probably print to about 1,600, I reckon. Let's go, Canton. Beebs loving it. River's still looking good. Oh, why is everyone talking about River? We just looked at it. It looked terrible. Am I looking at the right thing here? Do you want to interview CZ? I'll hit him up, bro. Yeah, Tim, let him know I'm down for an interview. I'm down to get him on the show. I did think about that, but I just can't believe anyone would be interested. But I saw Peter Shift on Randy Hipper's show, and I'm by the way, I'm not hating on Randy at all, by the way, because I don't know her at all, and I guess I've sort of looked a little bit at some of her content, but not a lot. But yeah, I was thinking, like our show now, we've got like 1,600 views on this live stream right now, with average concurrent viewers of 122 people. That's pretty bullish stats. We peaked at 166 tonight, which is kind of epic. Like, that's not a bad audience to get. I mean, it's not super crazy, but yeah. Wow, yeah, is this the right one? Yeah, well, yeah, the River is going wild. 47.97 is going wild. Pat Sonic said it's a scam. It says stop looking at outperformers and FOMO into something. Yeah, don't FOMO into anything. I mean, it's a pretty big candle to FOMO that. In 1, 2, 3, 4 days, it's gone from it's 10x'd in 4 days. Wow. About to break $1 billion market cap. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is. My computer won't even let me open it. So, yeah, I won't be looking at that. River says on the other chart, didn't River wick to 90? I mean, this is trading view. So, I mean, maybe if you're going to, doesn't look like it. Wow, that most people just aren't capable of handling so much information at the end up believing the misinformation. Well, that's true. That's why I think our community is one of the best communities out there, because, you know, people will discourse, they'll conversate, which I think is important. And then you come to some sort of conclusion. You know, you either want to get in or you want to don't. That's it. I just seen it on the crypto bubbles. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the community are saying it's a scam, so I'd be very, very careful of it. And anything that's 10x in 4 days would be a little bit of a concern. I mean, it's on a number of top exchanges, which, well, I don't know anything about it, though. I don't know anything about it. Circulating supply is 19.6 million with max supply. Wow. So it's got, what's it got? 20%, less than 20% of the supply's out. That's something to be mindful of, by the way. And I don't know where the rest of it, but it's only got 20% of its entire supply in distribution. Fully diluted market cap. They've got it at $4.75 billion. Holy crap. That is wild, bro. That is wild. 4.7 billion puts it above Kronos, Toncoin. It just ticks under World Liberty Financial. Okay. Okay. It's not legit. I don't care. Fat Sonic says it's not legit. So, like I said, I would definitely be very cautious. If people are saying it's a rug or that it's definitely a risk, then do it. Rather bet on 3-legged horses. Yeah, I've done that before as well. Taco again. Yeah. Vincent knows. What's going on, Vincent? Good to see you, pal. Welcome in. Welcome in. Right, everybody. Where are we at right now? 10:10. Rather bet. Oh, I said that, didn't I? That is the biggest rug pull I've seen in a while. Well, I mean, the white whale one's pretty bad. Have you seen that? I don't know what it is now, but white whale is an absolute nukerino. Where's it at right now? It is. It's run back up a little bit. 43 milli. It was 20 mil, but I mean, that is a shambles, isn't it? Went from like $200 million to 25 milli. Oh, what? Not for me. Not for me. Definitely not. Definitely not. Good. All right. Could be worse. I mean, that is true. That is true. Yeah. Both of those coins actually are terrible. terrible. So you got to be careful of that. Got to be careful of it. All right, everybody. Good. What time is it? 10 past 10. Okay, cool. Don't forget, we're back. I'm back live in like 20 minutes. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, fill my cup of tea up. Back live with Vern. If any of you guys want to come and join us on TikTok, you're welcome to come up, join us, talk to us, give your views on things. All right, it's dead cool. We did it last week. We had a good turnout as well. If you want to join that, get ready. 20 minutes back here. I am, like I said, going to call it. But I'll be back tomorrow night live on YouTube with all the latest and greatest. I swear Tubby gets off live and the market's screwy big. It's not me, bro. It's not me. I'm actually I'm 2-bit by day and I'm winter mute by night. Imagine that. So yeah, if you want to come and join us, it's going to be epic. We'll get into all sorts of stuff and just generally chat about markets and everything on TikTok in like 20 minutes. Other than that, I'll be back tomorrow night. Don't forget, follow me on all these socials underneath. You get all my latest content on TikTok. Also, I'm posting on X every single day. It'd be great if you follow me. I'm not really doing anything with Instagram, but I will. All right, I will. But it's worthwhile having it. And again, don't forget, jump in that Discord. It's totally free. If you want to get a little bit more alpha, then grab a channel membership. It's about $7 a month, or grab us through whoop.com. And you get access to our premium Discord, 2 trading bots and everything else that's in there as well. And we're building it out all the time. So so far, for the $6 you're paying, I think it's absolutely extraordinary value. So check those things out. Hopefully, we'll see you back on TikTok in 20 minutes. As always, thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you enjoyed the content, hit the subscribe button. And until then, thank you so much. Catch you on the flip side.